Thanks, Chief. Thanks, everyone. Usually I give this presentation in front of legislators, policymakers, so this is the first time in front of the fire service. But in all reality, this program was developed and built all off of you right here. So to show you how the effects are and the relationship of that is, with a raise of hands, how many people in this room are liaisons, safety officers, and operational people? Of those hands, how many people go out as overhead assignments or on teams? This presentation will directly impact you guys. If you haven't already seen it already, have any of you guys currently been out on team assignments and used some type of ag pass or accountability system for ag people? Good, good. There's a few hands around the room. So this is now adopted and official. It was Assembly Bill 1103, we'll talk about it in a minute, authored by Megan Dawley. I say authored. There's a bunch of us that wrote it, but the Assembly and Senate, they always put authored on there. So we know where it really comes from. But like the chief said, a lot of this started in Ventura, Santa Barbara County. That's where it stems from, but I would say we're using it all across California, and all of you guys are familiar with it. So that truly isn't where it was born. We've been using it over and over, but we truly never recognized the official program. We're just doing it on our own organically, and it's organically happening. So we just try to put some scope and parameters on it and try to develop something that would be official and have policy behind it, so that we had some teeth in case something went wrong, that we could pull those passes. And like Chief mentioned, relationships is the most important thing, but working with these policymakers, and I'm talking about both sides of the hallway when you're in Sacramento, not just one. Even though I see views my own way and other people see theirs, you have to work across the hallway. It doesn't matter what it is. You have to collaborate, and that's how we get to this point with Senate bills and Senate bills. I don't care if it's cancer prevention or if it's something like this. You have to pull down the walls. The next and most important thing besides relationships is trust. You have to have the trust, because once the trust is broken, this program won't work at all, nor will anything else on the incident management team. So something I don't share very often. Oops, am I hitting the right button?
Yeah, try where the
Oh, what'd you
Down
hit?
arrow.
Down, thanks. I know, operator. Something I usually don't talk about is back home from San Luis County. I'm a 5th generation cattleman. My wife and I run cattle in Santa Barbara, San Luis, and Monterey counties. I don't tell people a lot about that because I want them to know me for I'm in this job, not what I am when I'm back at home. So that helped kind of bring those two together. I work on a lot of Senate bills and Assembly bills for prescribed fire liability, Senate Bill 1260, which gave all the money here about 5 years ago to everyone that started hand crews, vegetation treatment, all those millions of dollars. We all worked putting those together. Again, across the aisle, developing those relationships and trust. So like I said, organically, this program's been utilized numerous times, and it just started getting some publicity. So the Dixie Fire, it got implemented a lot. The North Complex, the Tubbs, I can go on the Thomas Fire, the Whittier, I can go on, and you guys can bring up those fires as well. But what really spearheaded this thing and put it into motion was the North Complex, August of 2020. Down below there, it's kind of hard to see, but that's a pile up of dead cows right there. And this certain rancher, Dave Daly, who was very active in the California Cattlemen's, it was our past president, he lost 230 cows in this fire. That right there, if you guys don't know, cattlemen that are true cattlemen, that are generational like myself, there's not a lot of money to make. And I know Larry's back here, and Larry knows in a little town called Los Alamos, there's some cattlemen there. They're doctors and attorneys, lawyers from New York, LA. They buy it for a tax write-off. The cattlemen like me that come multi-generational, there's not much money for us. We don't want the tax write-off, we want to make a profit. So that's someone like Dave Daly here who lost 230 cows at over $1.3 million. He's done after that. There's no coming back. So that's what we're looking at. And when we talk about this is just a matter of getting in and cutting some fence. That's all that is. And that's what these are. They're all bound up against a fence. It's something small like that, something quick and easy, but it's us working with them. And we'll talk about what those parameters and scope are, but just bringing this to light is we are doing this, but now it's official. Oh, I got it to work. All right, what the bill is not. So there's a lot of confusion and questions. Sorry about that. A lot of confusion and questions of what the bill is. And so I want to start off with the very first slide of what it is and what it's not. It's a mechanism for tracking and accountability. So anyone that's on those fires in the federal area or the state lands, the federal permits where a lot of cattle and sheep are run, we see these livestock producers running around all the time, their trailers, their horses. Well, now we can actually know where they're at and track them because they're going to have an ag pass. It could have a QR code where we're getting that QR code at the ICP and we're sending them in. And anyone that's on teams know that nowadays we have an infrastructure and repop group where we have all the stakeholders. This is where all this takes place right there. It's not extra work on the incident management team. It's bringing in those stakeholders like the Ag Commissioner, the UC Cooperative Extension, and people like that and putting the work on them, not us. Emergency temporary access, like I said, it could be just cutting a fence. Assist firefighters with gaining access. How many times do we show up on a fire during the day where we can see through the smoke? It's probably a rarity. Usually it's at night, dark, it's smoky, we can't see anything. And if we have a rancher there to help us and show us where those ridge lines are, where those access roads are, where the old dozer lines went, it makes our job a lot easier. And that's where we can take that pass holder and bring them with us. We do that now, but now we can really do it and get them in there. Assist with water systems. I think of we lease 6 different ranches, and in those different counties, they all have unique water system. One has a centrifugal pump that costs about $80,000 and it's above ground. If a firefighter came up and turned that pump on without opening a relief valve, that's $80,000 down the tube right there. We have horizontal springs, so if you're pulling off a horizontal spring and all of a sudden you suck it dry and collapse it, that spring's been running for 100 years, it will no longer run again. It's done. So those are those little things that are unique that you can use those local ranchers and producers to help you with. What the bill is not is access for backyard agriculture. So I see this all the time when they apply for permits in San Luis County or Santa Barbara County is they got chickens, horses, goats, and they think they're an agriculturist. It's like, well, are you making a profit? Yes, I sell the eggs right here on the side of the road. Well, that's not a commercial producer for us. And it says in the legislation, a bona fide commercial producer. So we're eliminating them. All in all, for Santa Barbara County, we have only 60 permit holders. That's it. So it's not a big thing where it's so wide of a scope that we can't account for it. Evacuation of horses, that doesn't fall under this as well. So there's those groups in your areas called HEAT, Horse Emergency Evacuation Teams, and there's outlets for doing that. It is not fully granted access, so if there's imminent danger, we can kick them out at any time or not allow access. So we still have our means to stop them. And then harvesting of any community or of any commodity. So this happened a lot during the Tubbs fire, and the United Food Workers Labor Union actually put up opposition to this bill because in the Sonoma fires, the vendors were making them go in there and pick grapes. That's not what this is for. This is not for picking any crops at all and putting them in danger in the safety of smoke, as we already heard. So this bill is called officially the Livestock Pass, and that's it. We introduced it to legislation as the Ag Pass, but the Sonoma County Vintners Group shut it down because they didn't want to have any restrictions. They want to feel free to do what they want, and they thought they were restricted by this. So officially, under all coverage, it's only a livestock pass, but what we're seeing across the state is people are adopting it as an ag pass. So they can put in the row crops, the irrigated crops, and also the livestock in there as well. And a little sidebar, does anyone know how much our agriculture here in California is worth? How much we exported? Anyone want to take one stab at it? How many? Yeah, $24 billion last year. That's exported out of California. That's not what we eat here in California. That's exported only. If you think of jobs in California directly related to agriculture, it's just under 20 million jobs. So you can think of the impact of what it is here. The food that's grown in California feeds a population of 70 million people. The population in California is only 25 million roughly. So think how much more we feed in the United States, the nation, and internationally. So for the legislators, this is a really big deal to them. So again, it was bought off on October 21. Megan Dawley, she's Assemblywoman from Northern California. She supported the bill. And what it authorizes a board of supervisors, county ag commissioner, or their designee to initiate the program in their county. This bill also stated that State Fire Training or CAL FIRE would be the oversight committee and also produce the curriculum for which they will follow. There was also a BCP that was introduced for the funding, And the funding was just for the building of the course and also to hire someone for a couple of years to oversee the program. And as we talked about earlier, it was initially the livestock pass, but officially everyone's adopting it as the ag pass. A couple more governance of it is, so this isn't for everyone to have access. You have to be a manager. And a manager means you have to make minimum wage. You have to show proof that you're paying a manager minimum wage. You also have to have proof that they actually oversee the livestock and know the premises. They have to engage in primary duties of a manager and earn a monthly salary. So these are all within the bill. A qualifying livestock producer means a commercial livestock producer, and that can all be determined by your board of supervisors and your county ag commissioner. Qualifications for it. So anyone, like I said earlier, the chickens, the horses, the goats, it doesn't really qualify. So these are things that the local board of supervisors, the ag commissioner is going to request when you turn in an application. So a Form X is a tax form that shows profit loss, which most times we have a loss, not a profit, except for this year we might make a profit. Assessor parcel numbers. So there's different parameters for each county. And I'll put it this way, if anyone's interested, this is a packet that myself and a couple others have put together that is a go. As soon as I give it to you, you guys can start your own program. So there's certain parameters we put out there. It's only for SRA lands, and for us in Santa Barbara, Ventura, and San Luis County, there's a minimum of 40 acres. So anything under that, you can't enter it into an ag pass program. If you're growing cannabis and you're on the LRA, SRA border, for Santa Barbara, San Luis, and Ventura County, this isn't gonna work for you. Cannabis is not qualifying because for the most part, they're in LRA. That's why we took it out to the SRA line, is to kind of, I hope there's no cannabis growers in here, but it was to kind of exclude that right there. So that's another one for that. And then any type of registration for brand inspection. Allows, so this is kind of what I was mentioning earlier, to protect or care for agricultural assets such as irrigating crops, feeding, water, and transporting. Provide support information to emergency personnel such as identifying access roads like we talked about, pumping plants, and water plants. So those are key for all of us on all incidents. Besides this year, for the last 6-7 years, we lost all our ponds and reservoirs. So for any of our rotary aircraft, we would actually have to stop and talk and set up tanks for water. This year is going to be the first year in 7 years that those ponds and reservoirs out in our SRA and FRA lands, we're actually going to be able to access those. But this was a key component for us of having those passes, and we utilized them quite often. And then there's a notation for our program that ag pass holders are not to engage in structure protection and or firefighting efforts. Because we know a lot of times we've seen some of those people stay back and do that. If they do that, then their pass gets pulled. And this holds true for San Luis County that adopted the same program. So I talked about this is happening organically out there, but I'm just wanting to know if all of you guys know that these are the programs that are out there. So the 58 counties in California, there's 32 with ag pass programs right now. Did everyone know that? So we're going to see that, and that's why I was glad I got invited to this to kind of tell you guys, because I'm speaking to policymakers, but this is where it really affects the people, is right here at this group. So these are the ones in progress, and all the ones in blue are complete, but on those progress ones, there's probably only about 2 that are still in progress. All the rest have been adopted. This is from November. Right now, currently, is when all that ag pass training occurs. We'll be doing ours next week, and San Luis County will be doing theirs here in 2 weeks. So this is the timing of when all this goes down. So I would maybe get back, if you guys don't know, talk to your ag commissioners and find out what the program looks like in your area, and if it's going, and then be a part of it. And again, like Chief Tripp mentioned, the trust and relationships, they have to build now. For us in Santa Barbara County, since we're so proactive in range improvement and prescribed burning, that trust about most of those ranchers, they're already in that group, and we already burn with them all the time. So we put a face with a name. And the same thing on that side is we have CHP and Sheriff that help us out on a lot of those prescribed burns, and they already have a face and a name. So when a fire does occur, they're waving them right on through. They don't have to show the pass. Unless it's someone new, they know the trucks, they know the personnel, but it's because we do these ag pass training seminars every year that trust and relationship is built. So it makes it pretty easy for us. We've done about 5 webinars for the last year and a half, and we've probably hit close to 500 people. On each webinar, we have over 100 people on the webinar. So it's UC Cooperative Extension people, cattlemen, sheriff, CHP, county ag commissioners, and then some policymakers from OES and other state organizations. The grant, the BCP I mentioned earlier was for $493,000 for a couple of years to fund those positions and the oversight of the program. The State Fire Training Curriculum Development Committee, I was part of that as a contract county. So we had contract county representation, CAL FIRE representation, Ag Commissioner, UC Cooperative Extension, and then a couple individuals from CAL FIRE, North and South representation. The curriculum is available on the State Fire Training website under the F-STEP programs. But what's unique about this one is there's no charge for this F-STEP program. And that was designed with the legislation, and that's why that funding's there, is to pay state fire training. So you can give this class for free. There's not a cert charge, and you just turn in all your paperwork, and it's a 4-hour course, is what we built. It's very broad because we want people to design the course that meets their application in their county. And then it's February 2023. This is what the course plan was, and it was adopted by State Board of Fire Services. Up to 4 hours, and it covers what you see there. Hazards, LCS, the 10s and 18s. What this basically is a hybrid S190 class, is all it is. We want to give them basic fundamentals of risk management, avoidance, risk avoidance, real basic stuff to get through certain things. And it's just not for fires. This is for earthquakes, storms, floods, debris flows, and also fire. Here's some of the topics right here, like we talked about topography, weather, fire behavior, safety and accountability, risk management. And we also give them a basic I-100 course. So when they show up the ICP, they know where to go. They know to talk to the liaisons. They know not to bug ops or the IC. They're looking for liaisons to start those initial talks. And then hopefully in that liaison group are CHP, Sheriff, and UC Cooperative and Ag Commissioner. Building a program, these are the key components if you're building your own program. And again, this is a canned thing that I can send anyone if it's in your area. So there's an application process, and we talk about what those parameters are. It's for Ag Pass. You have to determine in your county if you want an Ag Pass or you want only livestock pass. That's big determination, and usually this decision is political driven. They're going to make that decision. If there's a lot of grape growers in your area, and let's say it's Governor Newsom in your Sonoma, guess what you're going to do? Yeah, I think that's John's governor. Since everyone's getting a dig in, sorry, Chief. Anyways, we'll keep politics out. Like I said earlier, you got to go both sides of the hallway. You got to get along with everyone. And then if you're going to give temporary pass, so let's say not everyone makes the ag training, or let's say there's cattlemen from San Luis County, one in Santa Barbara County. You can't get them all in the training. You can hand out temporary passes. And again, that's that accountability piece with the liaisons. They can go out with a temporary pass and assist. Waivers of liability, this was a huge thing. And I got to say, Santa Barbara County was the first one to finally get this through our county council. This was the tough battle, was getting county council to buy off on you letting private citizens in imminent danger. So all this is complete. Everyone's kind of copied it. But this was probably our biggest hurdle, was the waiver and the release of liability. Refresher course times, you got to figure out, hey, how long is our pass go for? Is it for 2 years, every other year? Can you do online training for a refresher, or do they got to come back? For Santa Barbara County, we mandate them to come back for a 4-hour training because, again, it's the relationships. We get those same people back in the room to put a face in the name. And then this question comes up a lot. Everyone knows the CAL FIRE, the hired vendor course out there. It's the 8-hour course. You can take your private dozer, water tenders. This here, there's no reciprocity for a hired vendor course in this one. It's two totally different things, so we don't accept that. And then lastly, access must be granted by the IC. If this is in the bill, the IC or his designee, which would be law enforcement. And that's in the bill. Those are the only two decision makers. They can pass it on to the liaisons, the ops, or whoever it may be, but that's where it's access. And we talked about temporary cards, and then the key liaison, so that the work doesn't fall back on the incident management team, is it goes to Office of Emergency Management, the Ag Commissioner, or UCO Cooperative Extension, someone there that does that work in those infrastructure repop meetings. It's not the IMT, unless they choose to have it as the IMT. Stakeholders, these are the key stakeholders we had at the table from the very first meeting. So we had the Ag Commissioner's Office, Cooperative Extension Office, the Fire Safe Council, County Fire, County Sheriff, CHP, and OEM. And that's who built the original policy right there, are these stakeholders. And having them in the office and everyone having an input on it made it a lot easier to move forward. I know other counties forgot a couple of these, and they had to backstep some of their policies because of it. It just took a lot more time. So make sure you have everyone in the room at the right time. Some people actually require a ranch plan. So when you turn in your information for your packet, they actually make you put down where all your water resources are, and then where your gates are, any combinations, road access, and this can all be in your pre-fire plan. They take that and they put it in your pre-fire plan. So this goes above and beyond. It's not what we do, but it's a great idea to require more of the local ranches. And that kind of sums it up. I'll answer any questions if you have any. And if you guys want those packets, I can give you a card and I'll send them to you. Yes, sir.
Could you please go back one of your first slides, a couple slides you mentioned about how people actually did stuff on their property, they were exempted from it? Like the state of defense or something like that?
Oh, you mean no structure protection or no structure defense? And
Yeah. Is that one of your first couple, three slides?
I mentioned it down here in red right here.
Okay, we got your two fireworks, watchouts, 130, 190 stuff, but if they're excluded, how does that fit into your thing?
So they're there to assist us only, and it says in the bill what they can assist on: access, water, removal of livestock in imminent danger, and that's it. Other than that, they can't be in there. So if we find them in there and they're doing structure defense, we can kick them out of there. Because in the bill, that's not one of the exemptions they have.
What was the reason for that?
Because it's in there just to help us and to help get their cattle for imminent danger. They can't stay in and firefight.
But it's their property.
We can't make, so if they're already in there, we can't make them move. But as a pass holder, we're bringing them in to help us or take care of their livestock. There's no other reason we're bringing them in there. So this right here gets in a whole nother realm of liability, which legislators would not sign off on any of this. I mean, if they're in there, yeah, we can't take them out. But if they're already gone and we're bringing them in, then we're going to hold them to our parameters. Yeah, they're falling under our umbrella now if we're bringing them in there. If they never left, they're doing their thing on their side. Yeah, you're welcome. Anything else? Yes, sir.
I may have missed it. What about the federal agencies, BLM, BLM?
So that's a good question. And for the federal side, I mean, I can talk from experience. I've been on incident management teams for 13 years. I can speak on our side of it is we work with our federal crop lawyers very well. And when we're doing this, there's a lot of federal permit holders that have cattle and sheep. And they work synonymously with us, and it's easy. Where the problem came in, and we had federal input at our local jurisdiction on this, and they basically said, there's no way you're going to push this through, the federal bureaucracy. And we kind of already knew that, and that's why we did a state thing. But at the local level, everyone's in agreement, and that's where it works. Those relationships are built, but when you get to the federal side, there's no way we can move that forward. Yes, sir.
How do you see this working, like in the IA phase of a fire, right? Like it's near some property, like what do you see the ag pass holder tying in with an engine captain, or how does that go during an IA phase? Do the companies in that area know where ag passes are within their areas, or just kind of IA?
That one, that's the dynamic part of it, and that's where the relationships are key right there. So I would hope that your captains in those, the IA areas know those ranchers and know who they are in the gate combos, and they can have that conversation. If they don't, then that's their lack of getting out there and doing it. And hopefully those ranchers are coming to you guys as well and giving you all this information, because there's plenty of ranchers that come to us and say, hey, here's all my information. They want to be helpful. So I hope that's the way of it. This is more of once it goes extended and the team gets there, because they don't know those people and the relationships aren't there, that they can get that going pretty fast. Yeah, you're welcome. All right, thank you.